message. There we go. And then the other thing is spring of 2024 is in the Council of Lions. So set yourself a little reminder. I will know tomorrow, I believe, what the actual dates are. So instead of just saying spring of 2024, we're making really good progress. I'm very excited about some of the stuff that has gone down with an organization called the Children's Cup. And they are happy to have us come alongside them. And I'm very happy to have them. They are connecting me with some pretty amazing business leaders in South Africa. So some of what we will be doing, we'll be learning from them and how they operate. So I think that will help expand and stretch our minds. And then we'll be doing some active hands-on workshop stuff with some of the people that they are building into entrepreneurs. And some of these little startup businesses. And so we will, as part of our exercise and stretching our brains, we will be helping them figure out business plans and that sort of thing. So we'll have some good hands-on workshop stuff with people from Africa who are building their businesses. So I'm really excited how some of this stuff is weaving together and the content is coming together. So anyway, the way that you get Real to pay for it is for you to attract an agent who is a producing agent who will likely cap, and that is about $4,000 that you receive from Real for their production. And that's about the cost of what we're looking at for the trip. So you bring 2 people, you can bring a friend, right? So it works out great. So anyway, I'm very excited for all of these things that are happening. There's good stuff that's going to help stretch us and help us build and grow in different ways that we would not otherwise really have the capacity to do. I honestly believe that. So anyway, get excited. I'll tell you next week, hopefully, what the actual dates are, because we should be narrowing that down in tomorrow's meeting. So I'm very excited for that. Okay, so first of all, you guys, how many of you are familiar with the DISC? Like, yeah, pretty personality profile, right? DISC. You're a driver. You're, what's the I? Come on, I'm helping you. I love your stumped faces.
Influencer.
D is a driver. I is an influencer, right? There we go. And then the S. Safety and security. Is it my internet that's weird? Can you hear me okay, you guys, or am I all wobbly? Okay.
I can hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then the C is cautious, right? So those are like the easiest ways to remember that. And so, you know, Susan and I were talking about this at the beginning this morning, just about how we've all been kind of programmed with this DISC. And what I think has happened with the DISC is it has allowed us to kind of tap out and say, oh, well, that's not who I am. So I'm not really responsible to do that. Or that's the way I am. So it's just the way I am. I'm not responsible to have to make any changes about who we are. And so if we talk about a high D, that's someone who's driver, that they're pushing, we have all these characteristics and traits that we talk about that we reference and attach to the D. And most of them aren't actually very nice traits. If you if you listen to or read like the list of what the D is, it's, you know, that they just move forward. They're not conscious of like when they've run somebody over because they're singularly focused. They just go, they're a little bit careless with people's feelings. These are all the traits, and it makes you sound like not a nice person, but you get stuff done and, you know, you're going to kill anybody in the path to get it done. And I don't think that's true at all about a D. A high I is an influencer or someone who's very energetic. Usually you're going to recognize them by their purple hair or their bright clothes or their really loud and voracious. It makes, when you talk about the traits of an I, makes them sound like they don't have any attention span and they're dingy and dumb. And if you read their traits, right? If you get to the S, it's the peacekeeper. They just want everybody safe. So they're just completely compliant doormats. Well, that's not true either. And the C is, you know, our cautious side, which is, a bean counter, someone who has no personality, no sense of humor, all they care about is numbers. And so we start getting these classifications. And instead of looking at it in a healthy way about D, saying, hey, these might be our traits that we have, but that doesn't define our personalities. And unfortunately, it's been referenced as a personality profile, which I just disagree. I think there's a lot more facets to our personality than just a simple DIS or C. And although I think the DISC is very beneficial and it can be a very great tool to help you learn how to communicate, to help you understand who you are, and so that you know what behaviors that you should be aware of that you might have, and start doing some self-analysis. It's not the sum total of who we are. And I think what happens is we've learned this DISC thing, and then we say, I took my first DISC in the 5th grade. My dad was very adamant about if you understand yourself and you understand people, it won't matter what you do in life, you'll always be successful because you'll learn how to communicate with people, and communication's, what drives the world. And so that was his philosophy. So we took the DISC. I have taken the DISC. Gosh, I take it about every 2 years just to see like, okay, what's happening? How am I growing? Or where am I fading off? Or how have my life circumstances changed that now is bringing other traits, forward? And so I think for me, it's a really great analyzation tool, but it doesn't define completely who I am. I will say I'm equal parts D and I, and I'm equal parts S and C. All 4 are above the energy line. So that just makes me crazy, right? So my D is a driver, but my I is like, be nice to people, right? So I catch myself in this like, oh, my S is be careful, and my C is like count everything and be on it. So there's a lot of pressure in my world if I just lived by my DISC to manage all my behavior and all of my thoughts all the time to try to make sure I'm living within my definition of who I am as a DISC person. So I bring that up because this is largely, I'm sorry?
I said, my DISC makes me feel like a car missing a wheel.
Oh, interesting.
Because I've got the ID and some of the S, but no C.
Yeah. Honestly, that's part of the flaw, I think, with the DISC. And frankly, I think it's actually part of the flaw. It's not even with the DISC as much as it is how the DISC is typically taught. Because I think when you can look and value each one of those traits, D, I, S, and C, and what the bank of traits that they have, we all end up being cogs in a wheel, right? Like it helps churn things. We can't all be high Ds. Everybody's just constantly running over people without care. And you're never going to accomplish anything, because if you look at the traits of a D, they do a lot, they start a lot, they go a lot, but they need people to help finish. They're not good finishers typically, right? They're going to drive and push and go. You have the I, who does get distracted, but everybody loves them, right? And part of why they love them is because they're affable, they're kind, they're considerate, they are creative people. And that, for people who are in S and C, is probably a little scary because they don't understand, particularly the C and an I. That's an unusual combination, right? So you just start looking at this, and really, I think what it does is it really starts to tell us like, gosh, in some way I'm broken. If I don't have the right mix. So to you're a car without a wheel, missing a wheel. I think it's the same kind of concept, right? It really helps us identify, the way it's been taught, really the things that we're missing. And I have so many people when I teach the DISC are adamant that they're Ds because they just think a D is like the best. They're the only guy who's going to be successful in this business. And so because I have no D, I'm not successful. So I'm just going to be a D. Well, you can't pretend to be something and sustain that for very long, right? Like there's a lot of people who can put on a facade, and we can pretend to be certain things, and we can actually not even be trying to pretend, but actually trying to create those traits in ourselves. And yes, we can create habits, but it doesn't fundamentally change the core of who we are. So when we look at the DISC, I think those are the flaws. I think some of the flaws are more with how it's taught versus the actual tool that it is. Because if you understood it as the tool of self-analyzation and self-improvement, and how you can kind of like get your vibe and go, oh, now I understand people that I'm in relationship with because I actually understand a little bit more about myself, those understanding about ourselves doesn't mean that we're broken. It doesn't mean that, oh, we have this massive gap, so we must not have value or worth. And so this book that is called The 6 Types of Working Genius, and it's by Patrick Lencioni, and he wrote The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And he wrote, I don't even know. I feel like that's been like 10 years, but that book is phenomenal. And even if you do not have a real estate team, so let me preface all of what I'm going to talk about today. Whether you have a team or are on a team in the real estate world or in any other business facet, this information is relative to you, period, as a person, because you are operating in an ecosystem somewhere. You have a family, you have neighbors, you have people that you go to church with, you have people who are in your groups. Anytime that you are interacting with humanity, you really can utilize this information. And so I really want to, if you haven't read The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, I would highly encourage you to, just because you'll start to see some things about your own family, even if it's not business related, you'll start to see, oh, interesting. This is, we do some of these weird things. Shoot, we should pay attention. This same is true, I think, of the 6 types of working genius. The 6 types of working genius, in my opinion, takes the disc from the foundation of just saying, hey, in concept, there are certain traits that everybody has. There's certain things that we're actually really, really good at. There's certain things we're not good at all. And then there's certain things that we're competent in, but we don't love them, but we don't hate them. It's like, nah, we all know we got to do this stuff. And so when you start to really break down these 6 types of working genius, you start to see, oh, it kind of breaks apart the way some of the disc has been taught, because it's not so much categorizing you by a personality trait, but it is more like looking at your skills and your interests and the things that you love. And so I think I'm going to talk through it. There are 6, which is indicative of the title, right? The 6 types of working genius. The way that they have them really built out when this was fleshed out. And by the way, if you haven't read the book, I would highly recommend it. I've read it twice again since Susan reminded me that I had read it before, and it's gelled so much stuff. It's made a lot of sense for me and my household. So my husband and I, we were laughing this morning because we have receipts everywhere. We know we're supposed to save receipts. We're so good at it, but they are literally everywhere. They're in the side pocket of the cars. They're on the nightstand. They're on our desk. They're on the kitchen counter. I found one the other day on my nightstand that was so important to keep from 2018. Right? So I don't have one of these little widgets that we're going to talk about in doing that. So it has revealed that neither does Kelly. And so because neither of us have that or do that, I've had we live on a property with a well now, so my water doesn't get turned off, but I've had our water turned off like 3 times, not because we couldn't afford to pay the bill, but I was like, oh yeah, to pay the bill. And in fact, this morning I had to pay a bill online because I've been carrying it around with really good intentions in my purse to make sure, like when I'm at a stoplight, call it in and pay it. So, it's due tomorrow. So I'm kind of proud of myself that I did it today, but I probably only did it because I've been studying on this. So you start to understand like what your strengths are, and then things that you just don't like, they suck the life out of you. It's not that it's hard work, and it's not that you're not smart enough to do it. It's just, you don't feel it. You don't love it. You don't like it. So you don't do it. And so many people in our world how many people do you know? Let me just ask you this. How many people do you know that actually love their job?
A lot.
Love. You know a lot. You know a handful, right? Yeah. So you know a few. Are the vast majority of the people that you know, do they love their jobs?
The majority, no.
Right. Why? Why don't they love their jobs?
Probably because it's not what they went into it for money instead of joy.
Right. Obligation, right? They needed a job, so I'll take whatever job because I got to survive. There's no shame in that. But what happens when you stay there for a long time and then now you can't get out because now you're only skilled in this area? You feel a bit trapped. And in order to change things up, Philman, I'm going to mute you. There you go. in order to change things up, they have to sacrifice now because they've hit this earning level, right? And so now they're stuck. And so they have to do this in their mind. They think they don't have to, but they do. And I understand why they think they do. But there's a lot of people who are really unhappy in their jobs. And so if we just did this whole mix it all up and let's look, what things, if you guys take out a piece of paper and write down like 2 things, and then I want you to share them, but write 2 things that you are super good at and you super love doing. And it doesn't have to be work related, just things that you are really, really good at and that give you all sorts of like happiness and joy. When you're all done with that, I want you to write down 2 things that you have to do, but you hate doing. It sucks the life out of you. Me, paying bills, tracking receipts. Those are my 2, right? So 2 things you absolutely love that just fill up your soul and you are so good at, and you just want to get better and better because you're just charged. It gives you all sorts of happy energy. What are those 2 good things?
Hey, Kimmy, they've got this new thing. It's called auto pay.
Okay.
Makes life really simple.
It would be really simple, except I have, now I have 3 APS accounts on different things, and they will only attach 1 account to each phone number. So it's been uber frustrating. Yeah. So
I dare you to have a conversation with Tammy.
Okay. I just need to hire Tammy. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I just want someone to do this stuff.
Oh, and by the way, I had to stop taking the disc test because it kept coming up that I was a DC. So I'm just constantly a dick.
It's true.
So I had to stop
You're
taking it.
DIC. This is terrible. Why does it always have to go there, Valentine? All right. And
Somebody's
it's
got to make
recorded.
somebody
Thanks a
laugh on this
lot.
call. You're so serious this morning.
That's funny. Okay. You guys share, somebody shout out 2 of the things that you are super good at, or at least 1 of them that you love and you're good at. No shame.
Counseling younger people.
Excellent.
Mine are teaching and putting systems together.
Yeah, for sure. Dig it.
Speeding tickets and solving problems.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
I would say training and golf, even though I would question golf sometimes.
But you love it.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, see, that's good. It gives you happiness and joy. That's cool. Anybody else? Okay, when we think about the things that make us super happy, like why? Like I'm going to just pick on you, Jaylene, because you said sometimes you question it. So are you really good at golf?
No.
Right. Right. So you're not even really good at it, but
No.
and not slamming you, but I'm just saying you're not good at it, but you really love it. So what does
Oh.
that say about you?
I love what I do, even though it may not always be successful.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because you
Okay.
have an interest, like there's something that's charging you, right? Do you want to get better at golf?
Absolutely. And I do. I'm not like, okay, so if anybody does ask me to golf, I'm not horrible, but usually about the round 13, I hit a wall on hole 13.
Okay. There you go. That's okay.
It's usually about the time I hit a house.
See, that's my point.
Which
The
is really
ball-
fun.
I've hit people on hole 13.
Oh, wow. You're impressive.
Thanks.
So Susan, when you teach, like, why does that give you joy? Like, what about it makes you happy and energized?
When someone gets it and I see that it can kind of change their present and their future.
Yeah. And so that feeds your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything that they want to share, that's something that they really love and they're good at?
I will.
Go, Lisa.
I love being in relationship with other people, my clients, my past clients. I just like building relationships.
And so why does that give you joy?
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of a people pleaser, but I just love making other people happy.
Yeah.
I like helping them solve their problems that, I have knowledge in, and I don't know, it just makes me feel good inside.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk then, you guys, about share some of the things that you absolutely cannot stand doing that you have to do. And so you just struggle.
Tracking numbers,
Yeah,
Crunching numbers, is that what you said?
tracking numbers, crunching numbers,
Tracking.
knowing numbers.
So numbers isn't your thing. It's okay, right? Doesn't mean you're broken. It means that's just not your genius, right? What else? Anybody else have anything else that they hate to do?
technology.
Technology. I'm known for crying at the Apple store.
I am too.
No, for real.
It happened Saturday.
Listen, if you ever need an empathetic ear, it is me, because I mean, I have laptops that are stacked up over here because I don't want to get rid of them, because I'm sure there's something valuable, although I haven't opened either one of them in probably 3 years, but no, it's there. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, I'm with you. So you guys, here's the thing. I'm going to talk about the 6 types of working genius. We're going to start with them, but you can see where there are some things you have a natural affinity toward and you're really, really good at. And there's some things that you don't and you're not, but you have to muscle through, but you're not necessarily very successful in muscling through. I will give you for instance, in our household for taxes, we hate taxes and not paying them. I'm a good citizen. I'm a good patriot. I don't mind writing the check. Honestly, I don't mind. I don't like writing a big one, so I like to pay attention. But I don't like all the prep work. And everybody's like, well, get a good accountant. I have a great accountant, but you know what? They can't read my mind and they can't find all these receipts that are strewn everywhere. Kelly has the same problem. So here's the thing. We have decided as of this morning, we are hiring our own little happy personal bookkeeper who comes into our house and just does this like amazing, I don't know, search and recon, find all the receipts we can in every place in our house and build our stuff. And we have apps and we do all that, but we hate it. We just hate it. So I know that I need to hire to my weaknesses. And Kelly and I should have vetted this out like 37 years ago. And if we would have known, maybe we wouldn't be standing here, because we would have been like, you don't have the right gears for me, man. And I have the right gears for you. So let's just talk about what the 6 types are. The first one is wonder. So if you want to write these down, it's W-O-N, not W-A-N. We're not wandering, we're wondering. And it's the natural gift of pondering the possibility of greater potential and opportunity in a given situation. So wonder is the natural gift of pondering the possibility of greater potential and an opportunity in a given situation. So are you a good thinker? Are you a creator? Well, creator's the next one, sorry. This is just thinking, taking something from nothing. Invention is number 2. It's the natural gift of creating original and novel ideas and solutions. So it's the natural gift of creating original and novel ideas and solutions. Discernment is number 3. Am I going too fast? Are you okay? Good? Okay. Discernment is the natural gift of intuitively and instinctively evaluating ideas and situations. So you can process when somebody else presents something to you. You can evaluate the idea. You can kind of come up with solutions, right? That's your invention and discernment together. Galvanizing is the third one. Galvanizing. Galvanizing. I see your
4th.
face. Yes, number 4. Did I say 3? My bad. See, you're pretty good with numbers.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing one.
Number 4, discernment is the natural gift of intuitively and instinctively evaluating ideas and situations. Then number 5, no, dang it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Galvanizing is 4. Messing with you. Natural gift of rallying, inspiring, and organizing others to take action. So formulating the group, right? Getting people together, rallying them together, inspiring them, and organizing them to take action. Number 5 is enablement, which is the natural gift of providing encouragement and assistance for an idea or project. Enablement is the natural gift of providing encouragement and assistance for an idea or project. Number 6 is tenacity, the natural gift of pushing projects or tasks to completion to achieve results. The natural gift of pushing projects or tasks to completion to achieve results. Okay, so that spells out widget, if you didn't follow the WIDGET. And the way that he demonstrates it in the book is each one of these is like a gear and they can interconnect, right, to make things happen. And when you're missing a gear, then that is who you're hiring for, or that's who you're looking for to come on and help you build whatever it is you're building. So when you look at these things, can you right off the bat, just by the sheer definition, can you identify maybe one or two that are like, yep, that's totally me. I love doing that. I get juiced from that. It makes me super happy. Is anybody in the wonder character or traits category? The natural gift of pondering the possibility of greater potential and opportunity. I mean, I know some of you, so yeah, you're quiet, but I see you there. Yeah. So very many of you in the invention stage of where you have a natural gift of creating something original or novel. Yeah, Susan, 100%. Yeah, for sure, Val.
Reagan was raising his hand, I guess. I was just commenting on that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
So Kim, so far I'm wonder and invention, and I think I'm also galvanizer or
Yeah,
galvanizing. So
you're allowed.
okay. No,
So,
no
you know,
limit.
so I paid
limit?
$25 to take the assessment. And the assessment was funny. It was almost 50 questions. It was 40 something questions. And it gave me my results and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because I would have thought I had more from the way I think I thought about me. I thought I had more of one than it gave me credit for. And at first I was like, I don't think this is right. And then I really dug in and I was like, oh, it's actually a better truth teller than I am. My perception isn't exactly the same. So here's the thing. You're going to have some that you're really strong in, and then some that you're super duper weak in. And then you're going to have this middle area of just competency, right? You're like, you can do it. It doesn't drain you, but you don't get charged. But if you needed to do it, you could step in a pinch, right? So that you can look at those. Who has discernment? The natural gift of intuitively and instinctively evaluating ideas and situations. So that's like my highest one. Invention and discernment are my two high. I really thought wonder was going to be there because I spend so much time wondering. I spend a lot of time thinking, but that was the one that came in third for me. I really thought that would be significantly, like it would be the one that stands out. And the truth in the matter is discernment stood out way above, and then invention for me as things that I'm super great at. And I love them. Galvanizing is the natural gift of rallying and inspiring and organizing others to take action. So that's a different kind of, you might not be leading the crowd, but you're helping to gather and build momentum, right? You're a good team member, and you can lead, 100% you can lead. But this is also somebody who's going to help encourage people to want to join. And then the enablement is interesting because we think of that kind of psychologically negatively, right? Oh, you're an enabler, that you can't be good. That's destructive and damaging for people. In the context of what they're speaking of, this is the natural gift of providing encouragement and assistance. You're a helper. You're somebody who will jump in. It might not be your project, but if you're at work and somebody needs help with something, you're willing to jump in and help on that. And then tenacity, the final one, is the one that neither my husband nor I have, right? This is the one where we don't like to do all that stuff that you have to do, like all the things we don't want to do, to push it to the end. However, I do really love the completion and the achievement of a project, but my gift is in creating it and building it and passing it on so someone else can finish executing it. I get bored. I'm not interested. I've already spent all this thinking time building it and creating it and all this energy of, what step goes next? How do we build this? Building that system like Susan was talking about. So I get to the point where I feel like I have created it. Now I want someone else to implement it. I don't want to do it anymore. I've already used all my brain power. I'm not interested anymore. I still believe in it, but it's just not something I'm going to want to put energy in. And I'll be delighted when it's done and it's executed, but I don't want to do that part. So how many of you find yourself as a galvanizer?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. And then what about an enablement? Where did that
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you guys. That makes total sense to me. And then tenacity. Who are the finishers in the crew? Yeah, Susan, for sure.
Susan.
Yeah, right. It's good. So can you start to see how when you're building a team or an organization, you need the wonder, invention, discernment, galvanizer, and the enablement and the tenacity in order to make this move. So if you are building a team, it's highly recommended for you to figure out which of these categories, I'm going to use categories, which of these geniuses are your genius, and then figure out which ones are not, or what's missing from your team or your organization. And you can do this on a very small scale. Like if you're volunteering to, do cleanup or something, find people who are excited about this project and have them help galvanize for you. Have them do that. If galvanizing isn't your thing, then have somebody else help galvanize, help them bring the team together and encourage them to go. And then find somebody who's, if you are the invention person, where you're creating the idea of we're going to go volunteer and do this, Lions and Legends is a really good idea for me in my head. And then in the Council of Lions was another one of those. Okay, we're just going to keep building, but I need a team of people to help me execute this, right? I have all the ideas. I have most of the how-to, but I need some of that fortifying help, right? Because I'll get bored and I won't do it. And then it'll just sit there and not be finished. And we'll be talking about it for the spring of 24, 25. It's kind of like that airplane movie, like gate 22, 23, 24, whatever number that was, right? So can you see how all of these cogs need to be fulfilled in order to have a super functional team? And so if you guys have had partnerships, let's just talk about that for a quick second. If any of you have ever been in a partnership where both of you are drawn to each other because you're really, really similar, and then you go down this road of partnership and you get down the road and nobody's doing all the other work, right? You both want to do the same work. You both like to do the same things. So can you see how in the dysfunctions of a team, how that's not really going to help support the rest of the team and getting across the line? However, if you are mindful about this kind of thinking and you're looking at, hey, these are my geniuses and these are your geniuses, and maybe we have a little crossover, but they're not the dominants, then we know how we can build, right? We know what we need to hire. This book does a super good job of really laying this out so simply about, hey, listen, we need to figure out like what parts we're missing. How many of you have been on a team where it's dysfunctional? Like you like the people, they're good people, but this isn't working for you. It's pretty debilitating because the whole team is just so sluggish because we don't have that well-oiled machine happening. So I want to encourage you guys, if you haven't read the book, I don't want to keep you on here forever, but if you haven't read the book, I just think it did such wonders for me the first time I read it. And then gosh, it's been galvanized in me now that I'm on the third time finishing reading it. But there's so much good. It's a quick, easy read. I don't know. Is it a couple hours long? I don't even know if it's that long. And on Audible, I read faster because I can hear faster than my brain can see it and go. So it's probably about 2.5 hour read for people.
I read it on the plane, so.
Yes. Yeah. Super.
And it's a story, which I like.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like.
They do a good job. It's not
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
facts and figures, but you you fall in love with these people. I'm very distressed because at the very end of the book, they say the wrong name for the wife. And it bothers me every time. Her name is Anna. And at the very end, he calls her Laura. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. It bothers me. I know I'm on the third time, so I'm sure it's true. Anyway, the point of that is it's a really, really good read. It's an easy read, but it will help you in your relationships. You know, Lisa, you said one of the things that I really love is being in relationship with people. I think this is one of the most basic fundamental relationship mirrors in an easy, quick read, because it shows you like who you are and you're like, oh, I'm that guy. And then you can see how, as he's building the story, how all of these things come into connectivity with one another. So I really want to encourage you to read it. If you haven't read it, there is a website, which I think is just workinggenius.com. I think that's what it is. I don't remember exactly. Somebody can look that up if you want and help me. But there's some free tools on there. And there is an assessment. The assessment's $25. So it's not going to break the bank. You're not paying, $2,500 to find out things you think you already know about yourself. But I paid the $25. I took the assessment and it helped me even more so like, oh, that is really interesting, because I would have thought this about me. And when I really dug in to what they had to say, it is workinggenius.com. Thank you. Appreciate that, Reagan. You're a good man. Anyway, there's some really good tools on there for you just to explore. So if you get the book on Audible, that'd be awesome. If you buy the hard copy because you need to scribble all over it, that's also awesome. But if nothing else, at least go on and borrow and steal their tools, because you'll be able to see some things that I think could be really beneficial. And especially for those of you who are interested in building a team, or some of you on this call are actual team leaders already, right? You're already running a team or you're running an organization. And so this will help you see some things about yourself that I think could be really beneficial, that will help you be a better leader. But you'll also see where the value of having people who are not like you. My sister has her doctorate in human resources and organizational development and something, I don't know. She's got this big long title around it. But bottom line is, there is this thing in the HR world called the like me, right? Hire like me. So what happens is we end up with these organizations who hire a bunch of people who are just like their leader. And that makes them so dysfunctional, because there's a lot of people who don't like their jobs because they're forced to do things that the leader didn't want to do. That's why they were hiring, right? For somebody to come in, but they just didn't hire correctly. And so you have a lot of people who are dissatisfied in that, but you also have some really unhealthy competition, right? For position and stature, because everybody's like me. So everybody's doing the things that I want to do. And maybe I want that project and you want that project. And so now we're at odds. So you can see where this hire like me mentality is really destructive to your actual organization and your structure. And so figuring it out, if I go back now and we talk about the DISC for a minute, how do these two things, how could they work together? So Working Genius and DISC, Working Genius is not a personality profile. The DISC is a personality profile tool. I want you to see the difference. That's why we started the conversation with these. The DISC is going to show you or reveal how people think and how they feel about stuff in general, what their personalities are like. You get a glimpse. It's not the sum total of them, but you get a frontline look at, oh, this is typically how this person responds under stress and how this person responds in the natural. And if you take that and you say, okay, now I have these Working Genius, we need to find people who have these Working Genius, but we need to make sure personality wise, we're all going to fit. Because if we don't fit together culturally, then just plugging you in because you have a skill set and a love for something isn't going to make you vibe with the rest of the team. So you do, I think very strongly, you need to consider, like, is the person a cultural fit for what you're looking for? Do you connect? And do they have the Working Genius gear that you need for your team? So this is, I mean, I know that he doesn't speak about the disc really. I mean, I think he makes reference to it maybe at the very beginning. But I think when we look at this, they're two really good tools that can help you build a stronger, better, smarter, faster, more enduring team or organization, whichever one you're working on. So anyway, I hope that's beneficial to you guys. It's been fun for me to go back and kind of spend some time digging in, because there's a lot of things that I'm thinking about personally and how to develop some things. And I'm like, yeah, wow, this could be really beneficial. I need to make sure I'm not just hiring people that I think that I like, that are like me and we have so much in common. I think it's more of, we need to make sure we can get along, but I need to value you for the things you bring to the team, and they need to be things that the team actually needs. So I'm going to end it with that. Really fast question for you guys. One of the things I want to do on Lions and Legends is I want to bring value to this group. And so are there people that you have an interest in sitting through an interview with? As in, if you give me names of people that you want to learn more about, I am determined to pursue to interview them in Lions and Legends, so that you can know more about their business or know more about what they've done. If there's somebody who's successful in a place that you're challenged, then if you want us to do this, I want to provide that. You're not going to be the only one who's going to benefit from learning from whomever. So if there are people in our company, in your local markets, where I don't care, like people that you've heard of, and I'm not talking necessarily famous because I'm not sure I could get them on here, but I mean, people that you know that you're like, I want to know more about their business, right? I don't oversell my ability. Let me be clear. So if you have anybody, please text me, or you can shout out now, or you can put it in the chat, either way. But if you have somebody who you're like, hey, I want to know more about their business, please let me know, because I want to bring these people into Lions and Legends so that we can learn from them and figure out what their business looks like, so that we can see if there's something, that we can do better.
So I'm going to shout one out only
Okay.
because, when I think about small things that help marketing wise, social media is a huge impact, right? On connections with others. And there is a singing realtor, and no, it's not the beautiful woman that we all know, or most of us know. He's a young guy. He's a rapper, and I believe he's in California. And I pull it up on my phone. He creates original sounds specifically for real estate that people can use in their reels on Instagram. But he's also,
I know who you're talking about.
yeah, and I'm just about to pull him up. Hold on. But he's also, he performs in the top 3% as a realtor. So he's literally doing very, very well as a realtor, but he's also doing these sound bites with original music for realtors. And his name, hold on. Ooh. Let's do this. It's music saved. I'm getting it. It is. Come on. I use his little face.
Okay, while she looks it up, does somebody else?
I'll
Go
put
ahead.
it in the messagey things.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else have anybody that you are interested in knowing more about their business?
I think Blake Clark at Limitless Real Estate, he owns his own brokerage, but he's a great guy, super contributor when it comes down to it. Really good friends. I can make that introduction, but he'd be more than happy to jump on, kind of go
Nice.
through. He does really good with Facebook marketing and some of those other things.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, if you guys think of somebody that you are interested in knowing more about their business, Cindy, did you find it? I see your face.
Got to learn to unmute myself. Stephen Diaz, realtor. That's his Insta.
Is he Steven with a V or a PH?
V.
Thank you. I'll
You're
reach
welcome.
out. Awesome.
Yeah, he's in Fresno, California.
Fresno, close to the armpit. Sorry, from Sacramento, that's what we used to say. Fresno is the
Oh,
armpit of
Okay.
California. It's hot and dry and yucky, but they do lots of produce down there. It's good. Okay, you guys, if you think of anybody else, reach out because I want to do what I can to get some of these people in, keep things a little bit fresh for us as we kind of keep building and growing. And then feel free to use Lions and Legends at any time to invite people in your world. I don't care what brokerage they're in. I don't care what downline people are in. That's not what this is about. It's really just about all of us growing together and learning and being better at what we do.
Awesome.
Cool by you? All right. Happy Monday, you guys. Go kill it.
Thanks, Kim.